No, I mean,
Matty to the mat.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. In the easy for sheezy.
We out here, boy.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
I'm gonna start with apologies for my remote look all the way around, from the laptop to the no shade to everything. I'm straight cold chilling. Bottom line is, there's always something though. How you doing these days? What's good? Tell me
Oh
something. Tell me
man,
something.
listen. I really can't complain about Nathan, man. Things are good, man. Life is good, family's good, children good. I mean, hey, it's all good
That's
in
what's
my
up.
neck of the woods.
That's what's up. Play
Yeah,
that one by ear.
yeah.
No, man. I
Now,
am.
what's going on with you, man? Tell us what's happening with TC, man.
Well, we over here bunkering down for what might be some real snow. So
Woo.
Atlanta, don't get it, don't get it often, but
Yeah.
if it come through, it can really come through. And unfortunately, we ain't like we got some real equipment over here, so we have to begin seriously thinking about things, and sheltering, and how you gonna get around if it really goes down. Now,
Right.
I'm from up top. It ain't no thing to me. But the problem is, we down here trying to drive for them.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
none of them know how to drive at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah, because you
We
lived
but
in cold weather. You
uh,
Detroit,
that's what
Ohio.
that's
Yeah.
all we know, man.
Yeah.
I'm still on the run from the cold weather. So they looking MIA. He MIA. We ain't seen him about 22 years. So yeah,
Oh
man.
wow, wow. Yeah, yeah. We got about between 3 and 5 inches of snow right now too, man. And
Wow. In
it's
Dallas.
and it's still coming down, man. So I enjoy. Matter of fact, I got up early this morning and drove to Walmart in the snow. It was kind of cool.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know what? Those first snows are kind of cool. That's
yeah,
it. That one or two, you good.
yeah,
But on the 30th, 30 days in a row, you pretty much
yeah.
over it. Yeah,
No, no,
yeah,
no, no, no.
yeah.
I've never been a part of that, man.
You don't want nothing to do with it. Stay in your lane.
Nah, man. Hey, man. You know what? I was in Boston one time, man, and I had never heard of a nor'easter.
Yeah,
And
northeastern storm.
and I'm listening to the news. I'm watching the news, and weather comes on, and they keep talking about a nor'easter's moving in. I'm like, what the heck is a nor'easter?
Hmm.
Man, I get up the next morning. I look out the hotel window, and the snow was up to the doors of the cars out in the parking lot. I had
Yep.
never seen snow like that. So I'm in a hotel across the street from the mall, and nothing closes down in Boston when it snows like that.
Right.
That's crazy. So I said, I'm gonna walk to the mall, man. And I'm walking through this snow and it's up almost to my knees, right? I make it to the mall, and I'm on my way back, and I'm standing at a red light so I can cross the street. You can't see the curve.
Wow.
And I took a step and face first in the snow. Boom.
Dang.
Oh man, TC, I laughed so hard, man. I laughed so
They
hard,
said,
man.
look at that amateur. Look at that visitor.
That's
Where is he
exactly what
from?
I was, man.
Ooh, you
That was
straight
too
visitor
funny.
material. Straight
Yeah,
visitor
man.
material, boy. Wow.
Never
Wow.
forget that, man. Yeah.
That's yeah. No, you don't forget them moments. I don't
Nah.
forget the moments of waking up and trying to get my car out of the parking space that it's in by rocking it forward and backwards because one
Oh
wheel
Lord.
done got stuck. I don't forget the days of carrying salt bags in the trunk to
Oh
keep it
wow.
stable, as well as use salt to put underneath the tires if you have to melt the tires to get from underneath it.
Oh wow.
I don't forget starting cars before there were auto starters. There was no such thing.
Yeah.
You ran out,
Put the
you
key in
broke the
there.
ice off, and if you was lucky, your car was out there when you came, and sometimes you wasn't. because somebody walking saw an opportunity. No, I don't forget none of them days, bro. And we did it, and because we didn't know no better. So when I messed
Hmm.
around and really saw some warm weather at the teenagers, I was just like, I don't know where I'm going, but I'm going. Couldn't do it.
Yeah,
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 man, couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. So look at we had a great show last week,
absolutely.
really reflecting on 2025 and the ways in which we have all decided to kick our year off. In that same vein, I'd like to talk about something that I think is important, which is what have you deemed important in your life, right?
Yeah.
Uh, Setting things up for 2025, a lot of the input that went into your planning was about what's important. And
Hmm.
as we look at our lifestyles, that helps us determine priority. And so, another thing that I think we should be injecting in our 25 plans is what's important.
Yeah.
Not only that, are you valuing what's important right now?
Yeah.
Because, see, we figure out what's important real quick once something catastrophic happens.
Yeah.
But have you taken a step back to value what you have right now? Call it what it is, the most important thing in my life, and then put value to it now.
Right.
Because heaven forbid you have a catastrophic situation that removes that from your life.
Yeah.
You know, that catastrophic situation could be anything. It could simply be, you know, a home that gets destroyed in fire. I mean, listen, talking about natural weather occurrences, bro. We got fires on the west coast. We got snowstorms in the center and headed up the east. We got flooding also in those areas,
Yeah.
all simultaneously, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, if you ain't put some importance on how things stack rank in your life, this might be the time because that many storms happening simultaneously is bound to bring some chaos to your life
Oh yeah.
quickly, right?
Yeah.
And storms ain't got no respect of person, and
No.
ultimately they can uh, totally devastate a person's life prior to really understanding what has happened. So
Right.
that's another area I want to talk about tonight, since it's so relevant right now.
Hmm.
Um, is have we thought about or prepared ourselves mentally for storms? And
Hmm.
more importantly, as the preppers would like to think, prepared accordingly. Do we have food rations? Do we have communications? Do we have the things that are necessary to really give us some time to get through should a storm hit our actual town and more importantly hit your house?
Yeah.
Um, but many of us put, I think, way too much thought in that after the fact. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's kind of like assessing what you did wrong. The real question is, do you take that information and really focus on doing it right the next time? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think a lot of
Yeah.
people may be so busy cleaning up and getting back to normal that piece of it might fall off.
Yeah. I
What's been
noticed.
your, sort of thoughts on that, Matt, in terms of having something catastrophic happen or unexpected, shall I say,
Well, you know
and
what?
disrupt something that was very important in your life?
Right. Well, tell you, it's amazing because this morning I got up to go to Walmart and it was already snowing. But my intention was to go yesterday because I knew that the weather was going to be bad today, and I put it off.
Right.
And there were some things that I needed. When I got to Walmart, the store was packed with people just like me,
Yeah.
procrastinators. We
Right.
all in the store.
Don't we all?
We knew that the storm was coming, and we
Right.
put it off. And now the store is packed. It's bumper to bumper in the store.
Yep.
So what you just said, man, is a prime example of that, man.
Yep.
Preparing yourself, being prepared for when the storm comes, because there are some essential things that I needed here in the house because I knew we are going to be hunkered down for at least 2 days, according to what the weather report is.
Sure.
And I'm like, yeah, yeah. So I think that's good. I learned a valuable lesson today, and I hope that I hope that if it should happen again, that I'll be better prepared. I'll take care of business before it happens instead of waiting till the day of. Because my wife was like, please don't go out in that snow. Please don't do this. What if something happens? And I'm like, listen,
Right.
baby, I got this. And I told you earlier, it was kind of fun actually driving in the snow, but
Yeah.
something could have happened.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it would have been because I did not take care of business the day before.
Sure.
I
Sure.
didn't deem it as important
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
take care of that, man. Yeah.
And we all do it. I think this conversation should hopefully make us think twice about doing it because it's just a part of our natural human behavior. Yeah, I believe that we're just procrastinators at times, and until we take accountability that we are, we don't
Yeah.
do anything to fix it. And
Yeah.
so, as we start looking at what is just naturally happening in winter, these are great analogies that we can spin off into our own real lives, right?
Yeah.
These are things that we should be talking about in our own lives, not just with weather, but what happens to a marriage that has not been paid attention to and the
Two. Wee.
value of it has not been placed where it needs to be.
Wow.
What happens to a friendship that is pretty much not been paid attention to and not checked on the individual in years or months? What happens to the job and your career that we don't give enough importance to its value until it's gone? So, this is a topic that transcends our current state but can be used in a lot of different areas because it's so applicable to what we do. And a lot of the same behavior is brought along with that, just different categories. It's the procrastination, right? It's the not really necessarily understanding the value of that person or situation. Um, and then it's our natural nature to say, you know, I'm going to do it like sooner than you really think. I'm
Yeah.
going to do it soon, not necessarily I'm going to do it next week. They'll say I'm doing it tomorrow, but tomorrow never comes because it's always today. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah. You know what? You know what? It's really important that you really figure out what really is important, because there are some things that we deem to be important and they are really not as important
yeah.
as we make it out to be. Let me give you a good example.
Mm-hmm.
So pastoring, right? I know some pastors who have a hard. Their children are having a hard time because their dad valued or put more importance on the church than he did his family.
Right.
He was at the church breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week,
Mm-hmm.
missing outings with their children, not spending quality time with their wives,
Right.
and so now here they are, been married 40 or 50 years, but children have felt are feeling like they've been neglected all of those years
All the
because
time.
a pastor put more emphasis on the church than he did his family, and that's something that I vowed to never do. I never put the church before my family, and I mean that, man, because you know what I do know. Um, while there are some people in that church that love me, there's nobody in that church that loves me like my wife and my children, my mom and my siblings. Nobody.
Yeah. That's
So
good.
I will not put that before my family, man.
I think that's a learned behavior. Um, I know many men of faith, pastors, ministers, and we get that message so many different ways. If you're a man of faith, then we believe in taking care of others and leading out front. And so, it's easy to get caught up in that and either ask or not ask for your family's permission to do it, but just find yourself doing it. And I don't know of too many situations where it did not cause some major conflict.
Oh
But
yeah.
in the more recent years, I've heard more people talk about it, more people make the comment that it's not worth sacrificing, because in the end, what you lose with family is just irreplaceable. Kind of like we're talking about here. Um, Watching your children grow up and being a good parent during those times, balancing the juggling act of being a father as well as being, a husband, all of those things will have so much more weight on the latter part of your life than on your life while you're in them. And
Yeah.
so that's why we have to put thought into what is it that I'm willing to sacrifice, and have I given thought to what happens down the road when this really sinks in that, man, where I thought it was the job, it really was the family. Because
Yeah.
the job don't even know my name no more. They got new
Yeah.
CEOs, new CFOs, new
Telling
whoever,
you.
whatever, whatever. Job don't know my name. So
Yeah. Yeah.
well
T,
spoken.
Uncle T, let me ask you this question because I know with the various jobs you've had and the positions, the titles that you've carried with those jobs, so you come with a lot of responsibility, a lot of traveling. Um, when did you come to the realization that my family means
Yeah.
more to me than this career that I'm building? Because I know you've always been really driven
Yeah.
in wireless technology. That's your thing, and that excites you. But was there ever a time when you felt like you invested more time in your career than you did with your family? And what happened when you came to that realization?
Yeah, and I think I've told this story before. It was really around vacationing time that my wife simply said something to me that made that snap. But the net was absolutely, in order to make those kind of career moves, that there is some prices to pay. It's no different than um, an actual athlete that is playing professional football, and then all of a sudden you got to uproot and go somewhere else, and uproot and go somewhere else, right? Um,
Hmm.
it was really more about chasing the actual dream of the job in order to fund and take care of the family. But the reciprocal of that was the price the family pays is not having you there. So it was always about trying to find that balance for me. And there were days where it caused some problems, and there were other days where, it was a good life because we could do all the things that people wanted to do. Everybody wants to give their kids and their family the best. And you can say what you want, you can't do it without money. So I chose that, and there were some hard conversations about how much time I spent at the job and how much time I spent traveling. Some of that is controllable, some of that is not. So where I could control those things, I did. But where it really hit me, and I was able to really put, some a face to that which was important, was a conversation we had one time around family vacation. And I think, again, not too long ago, we mentioned this where, we take a 1 week vacation somewhere and you call it a week, but it takes you a day to get down, a day to get back. You got these unwind days. You don't really get about 3, 4 days of vacation on a 7-day trip.
Right.
So one year, my wife was like, "Why are we running to the beach and running back? Why are we doing 1 week? Why? I mean, I know you have vacation time. You don't go nowhere. You don't do no work." She said, "How much vacation time you got in hours?" I told you this story. I
I
said,
know.
I got about 280 hours, but I'm working on this project and that project and this, and I don't know if I leave, if I come back. That She just looked at me and said, 280 hours, and you can't take 2 weeks of vacation. She said, I tell you what, I am not going on another vacation that's not 2 weeks.
Right.
Period. Okay.
Right.
So I was like, well, we might be able to work in here. She said, it don't make no sense. You can't do nothing with that time, but get some more money. You
That's
already
right.
getting money, so why don't we just go?
That's
Sure
right.
enough, I go. I take a 2 week vacation, change my life to this day. Okay,
Yeah.
I go somewhere on the first. I don't come back to work till the 16th. Matter of fact,
Yeah.
I go to the perfect place, to the beach,
Yeah.
for a solid 15 days. Changed my life. I was
Yeah.
thinking I wouldn't even remember my job. I came back with more ideas than I thought about in 10 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
it really did hit me in terms of what was important. Not only were they important to spend that time with, but the downtime from the job gave me more space for the job. because
Yeah.
personally, it's a different type of vibe when you're with your family and y'all just doing fun stuff
Yeah.
on the boat, at the movies, walking around in a small town somewhere off the grid. Everything changes. So, yeah, that
Yeah.
was the one for me, man. I never looked back, and it changed my life to really put my value in the right place.
Yeah. The other thing is this here, man. You think about what it did for you,
Yeah,
but the flip side of that is what it does for the
for
family,
them.
though. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I see that right now in my two younger girls because, our girls were spread apart in age. And it's kind of funny to hear them talk about their lives. The two oldest girls, when you having kids practically got out of high school, you poor. You
Yeah.
understand? I'm in the Air Force. You might get a 3-day trip somewhere, but you get these younger ones later on in life where you done got your life together. They see a
Yeah.
very different life, and I
Yeah.
hear them discuss their vacations. And mom and dad, we didn't do that back in the day, but anything they did in that day was still great.
Yeah.
But then they could compare and contrast to the younger ones,
Yeah.
13-year difference, and
Yeah.
they're like, man, we didn't have it like that. So
Yeah. So Michaela been balling all her
oh,
life,
she don't know nothing but that. She looking at them like,
all her
what is y'all
life.
talking about? What you mean a smartphone? She had smartphones in the fourth grade. Like what?
Yeah.
Why y'all
Right.
complaining? Yeah, she way spoiled. Way spoiled.
Right. So when I think we talked about this, how people don't fully appreciate the value of something until it's gone,
Right.
and because of that, I think it's crucial to recognize what truly matters in life, as you already stated. The relationship, the health, career opportunities.
Right.
To value that stuff while we still have them, so that we can avoid the regret later on in life if we should lose them. Um, how do you determine what's really important versus what's important?
In other words, the level of importance,
The
right?
level of importance.
Because there, a lot of
How do you
times we have a
determine?
lot of, yeah. I think a level of importance really boils down to um, is there a way of sort of recategorizing? Because here's an example that I used to tell my wife all the time. Um, there will be things that are important, but yet it just depends on the circumstances as to where they fit.
Hmm.
In the moment, if something is going on, in the moment, if a water pipe is breaking, the importance of a bucket and mop is super important. In the moment where there's not a water pipe being broke, that bucket and mop doesn't have the same importance,
Hmm.
right? In the event of a car having a tire that's bad, um, doesn't have the same effect when the tire is full. So there
Hmm.
were times where in your life you have to shift, and that becomes that variance in the importance level, and you have to be able to move with that very fluidly in order to keep that mindset going. That I'm going to focus and give my attention to what is most important or very important, and I'm,
Hmm.
I'm gauging that by what type of impact is it having on the ground right now today. Yeah, been
That's
there and
good.
done that because it was
Hmm.
always about pivoting. And we all know marriage is not a straight lane.
Right.
It's this,
Right.
it's curves, it's ups, it's
Man.
downs, it's all of those things. And so, in order to really make it work, you've got to be flexible and willing to go back and understand, the why behind the situation. And that ain't easy. It takes you time to do that. It takes you time to acknowledge that some of the problem is you, which heaven knows nobody wants to own that, but it's true. Um, and then more importantly, implementing the changes. It's one
Hmm.
thing to learn that it's you. It's another thing to accept it and make the changes. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
always been a big part of it. Um,
So, how would just say you went through life, and you really didn't pay attention to the important things in life, and then you wind up losing those things or people or whatever. How,
yeah,
how do you bounce back from that?
yeah. I think that becomes a matter of how you want to view what has transpired. man, I live my life under the impression that everything that I'm going through, God is allowing me to go through because it's for somebody else. And
Right.
so,
It's
no
good.
matter what happens,
Yeah.
I
That's
don't. It
very
don't
good.
have to be for me. Sometimes we talk about gifts and talents, and my kids and I talked about this just yesterday. Gifts and talents isn't always about you. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
photographer, 30 some odd years photographer. I've shot all kinds of stuff. Thought I was going to do it professionally, but it didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
But then I turn around, and my two youngest daughters pick it up and have made it a part of their career paths. And now something that I saw as a creative hobby, content, sort of provider of shooting beautiful women around the world that never materialized because I had to go get a
Mm-hmm.
real job. Now my kids end
Mm-hmm.
up with it, able to make money, generate revenue, do side projects, and so all of a sudden now the gift wasn't necessarily for me. It was the generational thing that was being passed down. Think about any amazing entertainer. You'll
Mm-hmm.
find in the family that there was someone else that possibly thought they were going to be the one. Eddie Murphy said his dad and his uncle, somebody told his dad and uncle that they was reading palms or something and told one of them that somebody in the family was going to be rich and famous entertainer. He
Uh,
says so his dad and uncle for years was out there tap dancing, doing vaudeville shows, trying to get into the Apollo, doing all this stuff, and neither one of them made it. Eddie's a little boy telling jokes, dirty and all this stuff, and it ends up being Eddie.
him.
Yeah, in the
That's
same way with
great.
a lot of different musicians, you hear about their famous parents. Or I'll tell you one that don't get enough credit is PKs, preacher kids.
Yeah.
So these kids are introduced to music at an early age. Why? Because you got a church full of musical instruments.
Yeah.
And so the preacher's kids can be in there all night long, learning how to play. They got access to instruments that most kids do not. And then they ultimately
Mm-hmm.
go out and do whatever they want with music because it was in my hands the whole time. So, I try to look at it from that perspective, but, that's one of the examples of how that works.
Yeah. Hey man, you know what? Let me go back to because we talked about the vacation. Um, because I think it's very important, man, to spend time with family. Do the vacation thing. But you know what I found, man? There have been some times when I've done vacation, and I was so bogged down with the itinerary, where we're
Yeah,
gonna go, what we're gonna
yeah.
do, that I really didn't get an opportunity to really enjoy the vacation.
Yeah.
I was so busy, you can be so busy taking pictures and all of that stuff that you never really just be in the moment, man.
You're
To
so busy
in
you ain't no good. I mean, it happens even in life.
and so
People,
so so
yeah,
you're intentional with the vacation,
yeah.
but you still don't do, you still don't recognize the importance of the vacation.
There you go. There you go.
That makes
Well,
sense.
you hit it on the head, and that is how you correct it. Once again, we're talking about what is important in our lives. If you don't sit back and assess it and say that's important, then ultimately you will continue to abuse it. It's the same reason why one group of my nieces and nephews go on vacation every year, and another group of them try to plan a June trip in May. See what I'm saying? For those of us who know the importance of taking that break, unplugging, not just taking vacation, but planning to prepare to take vacation and going on vacation with the resources needed to enjoy the vacation. Because if you haven't planned, if you haven't prioritized it, and maybe put together a package where you paid all year into savings so you can go, then you taking these vacations where you looking for Motel Sixes in every city. Kids can't do nothing. Don't ask for nothing. Don't look at nothing. Don't smell nothing. We're going to eat bologna sandwiches and we're going to have one meal maybe a week while we down here. That kind of stuff.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
because of lack of planning and the fact that you've not prioritized
yeah.
vacation is, in my mind, more important than work. It's the reason why I
Man,
work.
that's right.
It's the reason why I work.
Absolutely,
Come on now.
absolutely,
And when you
absolutely,
figure that out, you like, look here, I'm
absolutely,
I'm here for the paycheck so I can go on back on vacation. That's it.
absolutely,
And when you do
absolutely.
that, everything changes. The quality of your vacation changes. The memories that you make, my wife used to tell us all the time, memories don't happen, memories are made.
That's
If you
right.
don't make time for them to happen,
Yeah.
stop just thinking they just gonna happen. And if so, they ain't gonna be the memories that you want.
Right.
So you have
Very
to look
good.
at it from a different set of eyes. But yeah, that is a big
Very
one.
good.
That's a big
That's
one.
very good. Very good, man. Very
Hmm.
good. You know, that making time for what's important. Um, I think that many, I'm gonna say many of us. I don't want to say people. I'm gonna say us. I want to include myself in it. Is that we can know what's important or what's the most important and still not do it. In other words, we'll take it for granted that we can get it done tomorrow,
Yeah,
or we can do it next week,
yeah,
or I know that's important, but I think I can wait. I got a little time before I do that. How do you wrestle with that?
yeah. Like
Taking
everybody else, like everybody else, because I think, just feel that from a control perspective, I got this. Especially when that's why I'm saying we quick to say I'm gonna just do it tomorrow. We ain't quick to say I'm gonna do it next week. But tomorrow, yeah, I got this tomorrow. And that procrastination, I reposted something one time that said procrastination is our audacity to believe that God will give us another day. You got the audacity to think you're gonna be here tomorrow. You might just die tonight. So, and that was a home run hit for me too. But I too, like anybody, can find myself procrastinating, thinking I got another day or thinking I got time to get back to it. And if you don't break the cycle, it is a spinning cycle because you're constantly going there. Um, the worst people with that are people who, OCD, of course,
Yeah, yeah.
because it is a constant spin out for them, a spin out in which people can't necessarily break for them because in their minds they're stuck at this one place and can't get through it. And little do they know that if you just keep moving, that will work itself out. That's a hard one. I've talked to a lot of OCD driven people on the remember the disc scores that we use at work to kind of discover people's communication styles. That disc assessment helps
Yeah.
in terms of their communication styles and more importantly how they see and process things. And it's easy for those folks, depending on their actual style, to get caught up in that repetitive sort of mode because
Yeah.
if they're CI and they're cautious, then they want to get it right. They're on this perfection thing, and so that can change real quick in terms of
Yeah.
how you
Yeah.
get the outcome of something. Yep.
That's great. You know, let me here's a question for you, and I know you can answer this too.
Hmm.
We talk about what's important, and we know family is important. Our
Absolutely.
relationships are important, but you
Hmm.
know what's just as important as family and relationships?
Hmm.
You, you self. And so,
So
what do you tell somebody who is constantly sacrificing their self and giving and giving and giving, always trying to help somebody else, but they never take time to take care of self?
hmm.
And then what happens when they finally sit down to try to do something? Well, not when they try to sit down and do something, but maybe they wind up being sick, and they've given and given and given and given and taken care of other people, and now they need to be taken care of, but there's nobody there
Yeah.
to do for
Yeah.
them what they've
Correct.
done for everybody else. What do you
Correct.
say to that person?
I say that, if you truly enjoy the, um, the, if you truly enjoy what happens when you touch people like that, if you truly enjoy that, you need to know that the only way to continue that is to take care of self. Because if your car's check engine light come on and you don't do nothing about it, eventually you know it's going to break down.
Right.
And ultimately, when we get into that place to where that's all we're doing and we're not having our own tanks filled, that is the inevitable. And again, if your reward is just the great feeling that you get from doing that, then you must protect that because that's a double whammy. You do something for somebody that is in need, that feels good by itself. And then the mere fact that you know what you did changed someone's life, that's another euphoric rush. And so again, I think it's about protecting you feeling good. And some people, this might be a love language, but I think it's about protecting you feeling good about what fills your tank as much as you do the people who really needed you. Normally, people like that are seeking out people who really do need somebody. And if you hadn't to come along, my. But you also have to remember that when you're helping people at that level, they really ain't got nothing to give back.
Right.
Some of them for different reasons. Some of them because they're not where they need to be mentally, and the fact that they are thinking that they're getting ahead when you're getting behind. If all you're doing is taking, you're never getting ahead. You only give ahead when you give. And then there are others who ultimately just see you as an opportunist, and they just don't care nothing about you, right? Oh, if you're willing to do that, I'm willing to take it, but I wouldn't do that, right? So you've got to, and again, time will mature you in the area of discernment to where you kind of know where you're at there. That's
Yeah.
when you hear professional people and athletes who make it big. They talk about that all the time. That you know you can never give your relatives enough. You could put one on the payroll for 5 years doing nothing, paying him $1 million a year, and the minute you stop paying him, you're the worst person in the world.
Yeah.
So you can never give them enough, and you need to know that going into it.
Yeah, and I think you can give and sacrifice for the good of others, and you're always giving, and you can get that euphoric feeling that you love when you help, but I still think that it has to be some other type of self care other than a
Yeah,
euphoric feeling that you get.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So I think my advice to that person would be, in other words, I think people who are like that, TC, don't know how to say no either.
If there's
They
plenty
just
of
they
them.
just, they just keep going and going and giving and giving and giving and giving, and they eventually burn themselves out, man. And because they don't know how to say no, I think you have to be
No,
able to,
no is okay. No is
man.
okay.
Do you hear
No
me?
is
All
okay.
day
No is
long,
okay. Hmm.
all day long. And if if,
Yeah.
if a person cannot accept your no, then for me, they care more about themselves. They care more about what you do for them than they care about you.
That is
If
correct.
they can't take my no, so
Yep,
I
that is
think you
correct.
still have to do some type of self care, and other than just loving a euphoric feeling,
Yeah.
because that doesn't do anything for your health. You got to be able to take some time for yourself and sit down and relax. Like me, I like pedicures,
There you go. Oh, I'm all in there, bro.
the
Petty,
pedicures.
petty Manny, get your boy
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
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 yeah. That's
yeah,
all good. Yeah, man.
yeah.
No,
Some
I
self care.
agree. Even physically, for me, it's really just massages in general.
Yeah.
Taking care of the body so that you are equipped and enabled to go do something when it jump off. If you ain't done nothing for yourself, if you falling apart every day, how I'm gonna do for you what I can't do for me. It's
Right.
about your cup runneth over, meaning I got all this excess. I'm still full once I take care of you, and that's
Yeah.
why it's about making sure that you putting yourself in place to create good resources when you need them, and making sure that you take something off the top. Off the top, you take care of you, so that you can continue to keep the funnel moving.
Yeah.
Because if you on the bottom of it, one day we might not get down near to the bottom to get you right. So you
Yeah.
should come off the top.
Yeah.
Off the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Very
think,
interesting. Well,
boy, man, some things are kind of impossible to prepare for. When we're talking about weather, the fires in LA.
yeah, that's pretty crazy, bro.
How do you prepare in the event that your house catch on? Who's thinking that one day the city will be on fire?
I think in
How
those
would you
places,
prepare for that?
yeah, I think in those places because they are, historical for that. That's not as a big deal as we just had fires in Manhattan 3 months
Yeah,
ago.
yeah,
So California, they've been dealing with forestry fires and all that for hundreds of years.
but not in the places that they are having them right
This is
now,
true.
though.
This is true because we've inhabited areas, and then in those areas that we've inhabited, there have been weather patterns that have changed. So it's a
Right,
combination of things that has transpired there.
right.
And once again, though, those people are still better prepared than others. In California, you can rest assured there is a whole department dedicated to forest firefighting.
Hmm.
I never met them in New York. And again, two
Yeah,
months ago when I was watching Manhattan
yeah,
burn, They on boats. They on just like in California. That blew my mind. I don't know if
Yeah.
people paid attention to that, but it's once again one of those things to where prior to those events ever happening, have we taken a moment and step back and say what is important to me? What are the important things to me? I know that in a life or death situation, nothing should be more valuable than preserving life.
Right.
Period.
Right.
But in many of those cases, you might get an opportunity. They come knock at your door. Hey, y'all need to be out in 2 hours. You need to be out in an hour. What do you take if you got an hour? Some of us, I might grab an heirloom. I might grab a picture that meant the world to me. I might grab a laptop. You see what I'm saying? And you will,
Yeah, that's
once
true.
again, you going to prioritize what those items are, but you going to grab some important items and you going
Yeah.
to still preserve life.
I've thought about that before, man. If something should happen, what would I be trying to grab to get out of this house?
There you go. Yeah.
I really have thought about that. I sure
Yeah.
have. You know,
And you
and
should.
and and the things that is real petty and materialistic. The things that I've thought about grabbing, I'm like, I got some shoes that
Say less. Don't even go there, boy. Say less.
I got some shoes that I gotta get. Forget the
Yeah.
pictures. I got some shoes.
Yeah.
I got a couple of suits and stuff. I'm grabbing them. I'm coming through the window with those, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure I got some stuff that don't mean a hill of beans either. But one thing I got is I got most of my watches all in one big case. So I can just swoop that case up. You
Yeah,
understand?
yeah.
And fold on out. And I might kick a few shoes in the laundry basket and take them on out with me. Yeah. Yeah. It's a couple things.
Yeah,
Get the
man.
cars out the garage and
Yeah,
let
yeah,
it, let it do what it do. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
it's all
Yeah,
good.
man, that's really good, man. That's really, there are some things that I don't think that we can. Well, you can be prepared for them financially, but there are some things that you cannot prepare for.
Oh, for sure.
The loss of a family member, man, that's something that's impossible to
Yeah,
prepare for because we don't ever know when.
that's right.
So
Which is back to what we talk about, knowing the importance of who those individuals are. In other words, giving them their flowers while they live,
right, right,
because we don't know. We don't know
right,
when a crazy life-altering event could happen. And I can tell you,
right.
my, the last 2 years for me has been like an awakening like no other, that life can change like
Yeah,
that. I
yeah,
mean, like that. And never before has life moved at the pace it's moved with me. Um, and so I look at everything differently.
yeah,
And I take nothing for granted that, yeah, this is good right now, but literally tomorrow or next week or next month, that could be something totally different.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
I have had enough experiences now to just kind of re-solidify how invaluable a whole lot of stuff is.
Oh wow, man, very good.
Yeah, now you got to go back and stack rank it, but my invaluable pile is much bigger.
Wow. So in other words, the things that once were important to you,
Hmm.
you don't see them as important now because of the events that have happened in the last 2 years.
Both,
Or do you
both,
see
both,
both
both.
ways? Yeah, or some things that were not valued, you didn't deem
Correct.
as valuable, they
Correct.
are extremely valuable now.
Correct. Yep, that's what it did. It sharpened those two drawers. Invaluable and, not as important as I thought.
Boy,
And,
boy, that's a
you can
paradigm
get
shift.
the right stuff in them drawers. That's about the best you can do in terms of preparing yourself. I ain't saying
Man,
you're gonna be able to take them with you, but I'm
yeah.
saying if you can, that's where it's at. And then you
Boy,
make a
that
conscious effort.
man, that is a real paradigm shift, man.
Yeah.
Seriously. People talk about, I had this paradigm shift, and it's always something fancy. People talk about having a paradigm shift, but in your case, it has been. I don't even call that's not even a paradigm shift. That's life altering, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You've had to flat out alter your life, man.
Yep. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing,
And
amazing.
you know, it's for the better. We all have something that we're dealing with, and
Yeah,
as difficult and horrifying as some of those situations were, they really do all work out for the good in the end.
yeah.
And you know, you have to take the good with the bad. You don't get to appreciate a sunny day without a week of rain. You know, all that stuff does mean something. And
Mm.
the key is, as you're walking this thing out, is to don't walk sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Don't
Wow.
sleepwalk. You know,
Wow.
pay attention to what's going on, and chart it and log it and come back and circle back at it. That's how you get the best part of your life on the second side.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're a little bit more watchful, observant.
Observant would be the word. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
You see things a lot different now.
Totally different. And I see things for other people. You know, I find myself so many times just looking as a third party, many times going, mm, he ain't got a clue, or
Yeah,
ooh, she's really missing it. You know, I
yeah.
see, and a lot of times I want to help people and share some of those stories. Maybe God will prepare me for that one day, but I see myself as a third party in a lot of situations. It's like that's so crystal clear to me why you doing what you're doing or what you're missing. But it ain't my place to come up and tell you that, hey, this should be this and this should be that. But yeah, that happens a lot, a lot. Hmm.
Amazing,
Yeah,
man.
man. It's it is this thing called life. We are still lifing,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you either gonna do life or it's gonna do you. So I'm choosing to do
I'm
life.
trying to tell you.
I'm choosing to do life. Yeah,
Yeah,
as
you're absolutely right.
yeah,
You gonna do it, or it'll do you,
one of the two.
and
Something
it
gonna be
will,
going on.
and it
It will
will do
do
you
you.
too.
It will do you.
Yeah.
Uh, you go in a room and ain't but two you and life in there. Ain't one of us coming out. Okay.
Shoot. You know, I always talk about that E.F. Hutton commercial, man. Back in the day, boy,
Yeah.
E.F. Hutton. That's it. When E.F. Hutton talks, people
Everybody
listen.
listen. Yeah.
Yeah, and well, life is just like that. When life
Yep.
start talking,
You better listen, or
you
you get to
better,
go and get it going.
you
Yep.
better.
That's real talk.
Yeah, that's the real deal, man.
Well, look here,
Yeah,
man. I'm gonna open it up real quick here in the
yeah. Let's
last
do it.
9 minutes. We appreciate y'all for jumping on. Lots of great comments. Um, Anyone want to really comment to anything that we've talked about? But the topic of the show today, for those joining maybe a little late, was, you know, do you know what's important in your life? And what we mean by that is, you know, have you sat down and assessed what really is important, both materialistic and relationship wise in your lives? And if you feel you know what those things are, have you put some guards around them? Have you put some protection around that thing? And have you played the scenario that what if I lost that? How would I be? What would I be? Who would I be? And you know, outside of a relationship, if it's something materialistic, the first thing that we would do is we would protect it. We put it in a vault. We put it in something and make sure it's secure. Same thing with relationships. If this person is my person and they're invaluable to me, then I would put things in place that made sure that they were protected. We were protected as a couple. That I was aware of my shortcomings and that I was working on them constantly for this person. Why? Because I know the importance of this person in my life. And the last thing I want is for them to leave it. Yeah, that's real talk.
That real talk.
Yep,
Real talk.
yep.
Real talk.
Hmm.
Real talk. I know somebody got to come on here now and share with us.
Tasha had a great comment. She said, in 2025, I'm not sleepwalking through my blessings. I think I saw that somewhere. That's good stuff.
Wow. That
That's
is.
good stuff. Wake up, people. This thing is happening in real time.
Wow.
My sister says yes, because everyone's timing is different. Absolutely. Oh, Lisa Kathy. Hey, Blake, remain adaptable and understand the importance of being able to pivot. Pivot is everything, son. Pivot, the art of pivot, because as life moves, only those who can't pivot will get left, right? It's the Who Moved My Cheese book for you guys who have not read that.
Very good book, man.
Excellent little book, legendary book.
Yeah.
That's about pivot. That's about reading that the pivot is coming and being able to move when it does, before it does. Yeah.
Hey, Nino Turner. Is that a friend of yours, Nino?
Yep. Where's Nino at?
He got a great comment on here. He said, as we grow and
There you go.
experience life and its difficulties, we definitely look at life through a different lens. I just got off work, working a 12-hour shift, uh, to come watch my daughter's volleyball
Wow.
practice.
Practice.
The smile on her face when I walked through the door was priceless. Memories definitely have to be intentional.
There
Very
you go,
good,
bro.
man.
You gotta make some
Yeah.
memories. They ain't gonna just happen. You gotta
Yeah.
make them things, boy.
Boy,
Kudos
that's
to you,
very
Nino.
good.
Yep.
Very good,
Good
man.
stuff. Good stuff.
Wow.
Our number one fan, your beautiful wife. She was making reference to
Yeah.
being so busy at church that we never consult with God. That was when we was talking about our time, dividing our time
Yeah.
out. And that's so true.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
Amazing.
Never been a more real moment of where we place our values. But that was needed too. Yeah, good comments, y'all. We really appreciate y'all jumping in here and sharing your Thursday night with us. Looking forward to a lot more things to happen here in 25. We're just getting in the driver's seat, y'all. Looking forward to the things you guys are going to be doing. It's going to be amazing. Looking forward to the things that we're going to be continuing to do with the show. Like I said, we're looking a little rough today because it's cold.
Yeah.
It's a little raggedy outside, and I'm feeling like sitting out here in some lumberwood personally. Trying to stay warm, y'all. It was 25 degrees in Atlanta this morning, so
Wow.
I'm way spoiled. I don't know nothing about this, but
Yeah.
we're gonna get through it.
You know what, man? Every year it seems like in Texas, around mid-January, beginning of February, we get some snow or some ice. We can pretty much count on it.
Yeah.
Count on it.
And
And,
we're starting
yeah.
to see that more and more in Atlanta, as just the regular part of winter. So
Yeah. And that's about it. Once that's over, then we'll be back to sunny and hot.
that's it. From cold to hot.
Yeah,
how we
that's
do
it. That's Texas. Cold, hot. No in between.
No in between.
Nah.
That's what's up. All right, so I'm gonna call it Maddie. I appreciate y'all, man. This has been great as usual. Much love to everybody out there. If
Yeah.
you joined late, check the rest of the podcast out. Give us some feedback, and stay warm. All y'all in the way of this winter thing, stay warm. Be prepared. Assess your valuables. Determine what you need to be doing. Don't take it for granted that an ice storm can't hit your house and tear some stuff up. Don't take it for granted that you can just be going to the grocery store and slide off the road. So
That's
y'all
right.
be careful. Take care of yourselves out there. It's gonna get a little nasty this week. So
Yeah.
all good. Matty Matt,
Yes, sir.
see you on the next go round, bro, for sure.
All right. Love you,
Y'all
man.
have a great day. We'll talk to y'all soon. There'll be more.
Peace.
Peace.